Today, America pauses to honor the lives of four remarkable individuals whose work shaped the nation's culture, art, and conscience. Each of these legends, in their own distinct way, left a mark that will resonate for generations. Richard Foreman challenged the very boundaries of theater, blending surrealism and avant-garde vision into unforgettable performances. Wayne Osmond brought harmony and joy to millions through music, embodying discipline, faith, and family unity. Tatiana Schlossberg transformed environmental journalism into a quiet force of awareness and action. And Isaiah Whitlock Jr. gave humanity to power, illuminating the complexities of authority through unforgettable performances. Their passing today reminds us that greatness often whispers, leaving legacies measured not in fame, but in the lasting depth of influence. Tragic news confirmed from New York City this morning: the world has lost one of its most daring theatrical minds, Richard Foreman, the visionary behind avant-garde experimental theater. Born Edward L. Friedman on June 10, 1937, Foreman's path into the arts was never conventional. From a young age, he gravitated toward the strange and the surreal, fascinated by forms of expression that defied the ordinary. Influences from Dadaism, surrealism, the work of Bertolt Brecht, and the experimental edge of the living theater shaped his imagination, planting seeds for a career that would challenge audiences and redefine performance itself. In the 1960s, Foreman founded the Ontological-Hysteric Theater in New York, a space that would become synonymous with innovation. Unlike traditional theaters, it was a laboratory. Each performance was meticulously constructed, yet it embraced unpredictability. Foreman himself often occupied the center of the audience, acting as a godlike figure orchestrating every detail: the lights, the sounds, the rhythm of dialogue. He would speak pre-recorded lines into the theater, layering reality with performance, creating an experience that demanded attention, reflection, and sometimes discomfort. Watching him work was like seeing the mind itself take form on stage, said director Richard Schechner, recalling decades of collaboration. Foreman's scripts often employed the Dada cut-up technique, breaking language and narrative into fragmented, disjointed forms that nonetheless created a coherent emotional pulse. These experiments were not for shock alone; they invited audiences to see the world differently, to question assumptions, and to engage with theater as a living, breathing entity. Critics noted that attending a Foreman play was akin to stepping into a puzzle where every sound, movement, and word had meaning beyond the obvious. Composer John Zorn once remarked, "Richard didn't just direct plays, he composed thought itself." Beyond his techniques, Foreman's presence on stage was magnetic. He embodied both control and chaos, guiding the audience through the performance with an almost mystical authority. His collaborators described his meticulous attention to detail, but also a generosity in allowing performers space to find their own voice within the construct of the play. Actor Willem Dafoe reflected, "Working with Richard was like being taught a new way to breathe. Every gesture, every silence mattered." It was this combination of rigor and openness that made his productions enduring and unforgettable. Foreman's influence extended far beyond his own theater. He inspired generations of playwrights, directors, and performers who sought to break free from conventional storytelling. His approach demonstrated that theater could be an intellectual exploration, a sensory adventure, and a space for radical emotional honesty. Critics and peers alike recognized his courage in challenging norms, often describing his work as simultaneously confounding and deeply moving. Poet Charles Bernstein once wrote, "Richard's theater is not meant to be understood in the usual way, it is meant to awaken the mind." Even as his work pushed boundaries, Foreman remained dedicated to the craft itself. He tirelessly explored the intersection of text, sound, and visual imagery, blending these elements into a cohesive whole that spoke to both intellect and emotion. Kate Vogt, longtime collaborator, emphasized how Foreman treated every aspect of theater as integral. There was no hierarchy of elements. Language, movement, light, they all mattered equally. That is the lesson he taught everyone around him. This holistic approach cemented his legacy not just as a director, but as an innovator who expanded the very vocabulary of performance. Foreman's death on January 4, 2025, marks the end of an era in avant-garde theater. Tributes poured in from around the world, acknowledging the quiet but profound revolution he led. Felix Bernstein wrote, "He leaves behind a universe built of words and sounds that will continue to speak long after him." For audiences who experienced his work, the loss is deeply personal. For the art form itself, it is transformative, leaving both a space of absence and an enduring framework for experimentation. In reflecting on Foreman's life, one sees a figure who never compromised his vision, who pursued the unknown with curiosity, and who elevated theater into something both cerebral and profoundly human. His work reminds us that art can challenge, provoke, and enlighten, that it can exist outside the bounds of expectation, and that true innovation often requires patience, risk, and faith in the unseen. As his collaborators, students, and audiences carry forward his methods and his ethos, the world remembers not only the man but the radical possibilities he unlocked. Richard Foreman leaves behind a legacy of daring imagination, relentless creativity, and the courage to ask audiences to think differently. Though he is gone, the echoes of his work continue to reverberate across stages, inspiring those willing to embrace theater as an uncharted landscape of thought and feeling. In this quiet farewell, the world honors a life devoted to exploration, transformation, and the unyielding belief that art can illuminate the depths of human experience. Tragic news confirmed today: Melvin Wayne Osmond, a steady and enduring presence in one of America's most beloved musical families, has passed away. Born on August 28, 1951, in Ogden, Utah, Wayne grew up in a household where music was both a calling and a discipline. The Osmonds were more than a family, they were a unit bound by harmony, faith, and relentless practice. Wayne's passing on January 1, 2025, closes a chapter in American pop music history, honoring the quiet dedication behind performances that captured hearts across generations. From an early age, Wayne's life was filled with music. Alongside his brothers Alan, Merrill, and Jay, he began performing locally, refining harmonies in church halls and community centers. Talent was evident, but it was discipline, consistency, and unity that set them apart. Early mornings and late nights were spent practicing the intricate arrangements that would define their signature sound. Wayne, often described as the steady heart of the group, anchored the soaring melodies around him, providing a quiet strength that shaped the Osmonds' performances. Their big break came in 1961 at Disneyland, where a talent scout noticed the family performing. What began as a local act quickly became a national sensation. Appearances on The Andy Williams Show introduced millions to the charm, precision, and warmth of the Osmonds. For Wayne, the journey was never about personal fame. While his brothers sometimes took center stage, his strength lay in consistency, the voice that held the quartet together and the calm presence that allowed the harmonies to shine. As the 1960s gave way to the 1970s, the Osmonds navigated the changing landscape of pop music. Wayne helped the group transition from wholesome family performances to mainstream hits, including the iconic One Bad Apple. He balanced innovation with tradition, ensuring the music evolved without losing the values that defined their beginnings. Fans recognized not only the melodies but also the unity and discipline that Wayne embodied. Music historian notes, Wayne's presence is felt in every note. He is the thread that keeps the tapestry together. Wayne also explored acting, appearing in The Travels of Jamie McPheeters. While known for his musical steadiness, this work revealed another facet of his artistry, a sincere and warm performer who could inhabit character fully. Colleagues noted his professionalism and generosity. One performer recalled, Wayne had a quiet confidence that made everyone around him better. You felt supported just by being in the same room. Family and fans remember Wayne for his humility and kindness. Merrill Osmond said, Wayne has always been the glue. He doesn't seek attention, but he keeps us grounded. We wouldn't be who we are without him. Social media reactions echoed this sentiment. Wayne's voice was the calm in every song. He made the music feel safe, joyful, and real. These reflections capture his essence, not always in the spotlight, but central to what mattered most. The challenges of long-term fame, the touring, media pressures, and public scrutiny tested the family's resilience, yet Wayne remained committed to discipline, faith, and family. His steadiness allowed the Osmonds to maintain cohesion, and his reliability mirrored his character, patient, generous, and quietly heroic. Across decades, he witnessed the rise of television variety shows, pop culture transformations, and global fandoms, remaining a stabilizing presence throughout. As the final curtain falls on Wayne's life, his legacy endures. beyond albums, awards, and television appearances, he leaves a blueprint for harmony in music and life. His dedication to family, craft, and quiet leadership influenced countless performers and fans. Alan Osmond reflected, Wayne's strength was invisible to many, but it held everything together. He made us better, not just as performers, but as people. Wayne Osmond's passing reminds us that true artistry often comes from consistency, devotion, and the courage to let others shine alongside you. The harmonies he helped create, the steady voice he provided, and the love he brought to family and music will resonate for generations. In every song, Wayne's presence remains, a quiet, enduring force that will continue to inspire, comfort, and uplift. Tragic news confirmed today. Tatiana Schlossberg, a journalist whose work gave voice to the invisible challenges of the environment, has passed away. In quiet offices, libraries, and reporting rooms, she dedicated herself to uncovering truths that too often went unnoticed. Her passing in late 2025 marks the loss of a voice that guided readers through the complexities of the natural world with clarity, rigor, and compassion. Born into an iconic American lineage, Schlossberg was determined to define her own path. From Yale to Oxford, she cultivated an analytical mind that paired curiosity with discipline. Early in her career, she made a choice that would define her legacy, to pursue substance over spectacle. She turned her attention to environmental journalism, a field where nuance is often overlooked and urgency can tempt sensationalism. Schlossberg's work demonstrated that clarity and calm reporting could be a powerful force for change. Her writing was both precise and accessible. In Inconspicuous Consumption, published in 2019, Schlossberg examined the hidden environmental impacts of everyday habits. She translated complex scientific data into stories that felt immediate and personal, reminding readers that even small actions carry weight. Tatiana had the rare ability to make the invisible visible, said a former editor. She made readers pause and think, without ever preaching or exaggerating. This approach earned her respect across newsrooms and academic circles, as well as from everyday readers who found guidance and perspective in her words. Schlossberg's career spanned major publications, including the New York Times, The Atlantic, and The Washington Post. Across these platforms, she tackled issues ranging from climate change to sustainability, consistently framing her reporting around evidence and impact. Her colleagues remember her not only for her expertise but for her integrity. One coworker reflected, Tatiana never cut corners. She demanded accuracy, fairness, and respect for her subjects. Working with her was a masterclass in responsible journalism. She believed that meaningful change begins quietly, through thoughtfulness and informed action. Her articles often encouraged reflection rather than reaction. Social media tributes following her passing captured this sentiment. Tatiana showed us that knowledge is power when shared with honesty and care, wrote one follower. Another commented, her work didn't scream, it guided, illuminated, and inspired. The world is dimmer without her clarity. These reflections speak to her enduring impact, a legacy measured not in clicks or headlines, but in awareness and thoughtful engagement. Even as environmental issues became increasingly urgent and politicized, Schlossberg maintained a calm, reasoned voice. She recognized the complexity of the problems she covered and resisted oversimplification. Her writing emphasized responsibility and awareness over panic, showing readers that every choice matters, and that change is possible when knowledge is paired with action. Beyond her professional achievements, Schlossberg was remembered as a mentor and friend. Colleagues spoke of her generosity in guiding young journalists, her patience in explaining difficult concepts, and her unwavering commitment to truth. She approached her work with the same care she asked of her readers, leaving a standard of excellence for others to follow. Her influence, subtle yet profound, will continue to shape environmental journalism for years to come. In reflecting on Schlossberg's life, it becomes clear that her legacy lies in the quiet power of reason and clarity. She demonstrated that understanding is a form of advocacy and that knowledge can be a gentle but persistent force for change. Interviews, essays, and social media tributes consistently emphasize her dedication to facts, fairness, and thoughtful communication. Tatiana reminded us that real progress often begins in small, deliberate steps, said a fellow journalist. As we remember Tatiana Schlossberg, it is her commitment to clarity, honesty, and reasoned reflection that endures. She leaves behind a body of work that will continue to educate, inspire, and guide, reminding us that the health of our planet, and the awareness of it, is a responsibility we all share. Her voice may have been silenced, but the truths she illuminated continue to resonate. Her passing marks a profound loss for journalism and environmental awareness alike. Yet, the lessons she imparted remain: to look closely, to think critically, and to act with intention. Tatiana Schlossberg showed the world that courage does not always roar. Sometimes, it is quiet, persistent, and deeply observant, a force that transforms understanding, shapes choices, and leaves a lasting imprint on society. In the stillness left by her departure, readers and colleagues alike find inspiration. Her work remains a guide, a testament to the power of careful observation and thoughtful reporting. Tatiana Schlossberg will be remembered not only for what she uncovered but for how she inspired others to see the world more clearly, to listen more deeply, and to act more responsibly. Through her writing, her insight, and her unwavering commitment to truth, she has left an indelible mark, a legacy that will endure far beyond her years. Tragic news confirmed today: Isaiah Whitlock Jr., an actor whose performances brought depth and humanity to the screen, has passed away. Known for his unforgettable role as Senator Clay Davis in The Wire, Whitlock's work reshaped how television portrays power, authority, and the subtle complexities of human behavior. His passing in December 2025 marks the loss of a performer who elevated craft above celebrity, leaving a legacy defined by nuance, integrity, and thoughtful storytelling. Born in South Bend, Indiana, Whitlock showed an early fascination with performance. He trained in classical theater, honing his voice, movement, and timing. Early stage work allowed him to explore the layers of character, teaching him the power of restraint, subtle gestures, and thoughtful pauses. This foundation became a hallmark of his acting style, one that communicated as much in silence as in words. Whitlock's breakthrough came with television and film projects that demanded depth and realism. His portrayal of Clay Davis in The Wire was more than a performance; it was a study of the complexities of power, greed, and charm. Critics and colleagues alike praised his ability to humanize characters who could have easily been caricatures. One co-star remarked, "Isaiah didn't just play the part. He lived it, with every glance, every pause, and every word carrying weight." His approach allowed audiences to see the nuances of morality, ambition, and influence through a lens rarely captured on screen. Collaborations with directors such as Spike Lee further broadened Whitlock's impact. Films like He Got Game and 25th Hour benefited from his precision and insight, enriching the narratives with performances that were simultaneously commanding and subtle. In interviews, directors noted his professionalism and generosity. "Isaiah has a way of elevating every scene he's in," one filmmaker said. "He's patient, attentive, and deeply committed to truth in performance. He teaches by example, quietly inspiring everyone around him." Off-screen, Whitlock was equally dedicated to mentorship. Young actors often spoke of his guidance, describing how he emphasized preparation, patience, and respect for the craft. "He always reminded me that acting is about listening as much as speaking," recalled a former student. Social media reflected similar sentiments after his passing, with fans posting, "He made us see authority differently, not as something to fear, but as something shaped by human choice and consequence." These reflections reveal the reach of his influence, extending beyond audiences to the next generation of performers. Whitlock's career was marked by versatility. Beyond television and film, he appeared in stage productions that challenged both actor and audience. Classical texts, modern plays, and experimental works became arenas where he explored character psychology and narrative rhythm. He brought the same care and attention to these roles as he did to his screen work, demonstrating that excellence in performance transcends medium. Colleagues often remarked on his ability to remain fully present, a skill that drew the audience into the emotional core of every story. Throughout his life, Whitlock remained committed to portraying the truth of human experience. He avoided embellishment for attention, focusing instead on authenticity and depth. His performances were never about spectacle, they were about resonance. Fans noted the honesty in his characters, the way they reflected real struggles, decisions, and contradictions. One tribute read, "He reminded us that even flawed characters have depth, and every choice carries meaning." His work made stories feel alive. Whitlock's passing also invites reflection on the broader evolution of television and film. He was part of a generation that helped redefine storytelling, showing that moral complexity and nuanced authority could be central to compelling drama. His characters were layered, neither fully heroic nor entirely villainous, allowing audiences to engage with ethical dilemmas in ways previously rare on screen. This influence continues to shape writing, directing, and acting in contemporary media, ensuring his contributions will endure. In personal life, Whitlock was known for his humility, kindness, and dedication to craft. Friends and family remember him as thoughtful, reflective, and quietly generous. His commitment to both art and mentorship created ripples that extended far beyond performance, touching the lives of students, colleagues, and audiences alike. One former student reflected, "He showed me that acting isn't about being noticed. It's about being true to the story, the character, and yourself." As we remember Isaiah Whitlock Jr., his legacy is clear, a lifetime devoted to exploring the human condition with intelligence, precision, and heart. He brought complexity to characters who might have been one-dimensional, making audiences feel, reflect, and understand in ways that were both subtle and profound. His impact on storytelling, performance, and mentorship will continue to influence artists and viewers for decades to come. Whitlock's career reminds us that acting is not only about presence but about authenticity. Every role, every performance, every quiet moment on stage or screen was a lesson in empathy, discipline, and insight. He leaves behind a body of work that stands as a testament to the power of subtlety and the depth of human expression. Though he is no longer with us, the characters he embodied, the lessons he imparted, and the influence he nurtured remain. Isaiah Whitlock Jr. gave humanity to stories of power and authority, shaping how audiences perceive leadership, morality, and the choices that define us. In every scene, every line, and every pause, his artistry endures, a lasting reminder of a life dedicated to craft, truth, and the profound beauty of human complexity.